Morning, everyone. Welcome to New Horizon Community Church. We're here at Rev 22. We have services every Sunday at 11, and then we open the cafe at noon. So come get some fun drinks and some free miracles today. We're here till 5. And we're here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 4 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 8. Wednesdays at 6, there's a ladies group and a men's group. And Thursdays at 6, we do a spirit lifestyle class. So welcome. All right, today's message is called 3 Days. So I found this article by Kingdom Story called The Seed Prophecy. And in it, it's really cool. I can't wait to share it with you guys. And then it inspired me and put me on the journey for the sermon. So at creation, day 1, God made the heavens. Day 2, God made the skies and the seas. Day 3, God made the land. Okay. So 3 days after day 1 would put us at day 4. So day 4, you know what God did? He filled the heavens that he created on day 1. Isn't that cool? And he filled it with the sun, the moon, and the stars. And day 2 of creation, he made the skies and the seas, right? Well, 3 days later on day 5, he filled the skies and the seas, all right, with birds and fish. Isn't that cool? So then on the 3rd day of creation, God made the land. And 3 days later, from day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, you know what he did? He filled the land with the animals and mankind. So he had like this formula that he was using. So he did 1, 2, 3. And then 3 days from each day, he filled what he had made on that day. I just thought that was the coolest thing. So in the Hebrew alphabet, I looked up what is 3? What is the significance of 3? And it's called the Gimel, Gimmel. It has the value of 3, and the symbolism is forgiving and kindness. Oh, I just love it so much. You know, he made this whole earth realm for us, you know, and his giving and his kindness. You know, he gave us the earth, and maybe that's why it's in not as great shape, but still. It was real beautiful when he gave it to us. Acts chapter 10, verse 40 says, "But God raised him, Jesus, on the 3rd day and made him to appear." Isn't that cool? On the 3rd day, see, Jesus went into the earth, like the word that was made flesh went into the earth. And on the 3rd day, he appeared and filled it. And you can see the same formula in the very beginning of creation. So here's a couple of scripture references to 3rd day. The binding of Isaac, Abraham's journey to Mount Moriah Abraham's journey to Mount Moriah where he took Isaac. It took him 3 days to get there, which at the end of that, he didn't have to sacrifice Isaac. God provided a ram that was in the thicket, but it was a 3-day journey. Not cool? And God provided after the 3 days. Okay, Joseph's imprisonment with his brothers. Joseph imprisoned his brothers when they came, and then they realized he was the king yet. But he imprisoned them for 3 days before releasing them to go get Benjamin. So you see, like it's a foreshadowing of Christ. It's a foreshadowing of Christ. The plague of darkness. The 9th plague on Egypt was where the darkness lasted for 3 days, which symbolizes the judgment of God for sin. But what he did was he gave the Israelites light. So they had light wherever they went during those 3 days because of his covenant. So there was 3 days judgment, but he provided still the light for his covenant. So when Jesus went into the earth for 3 days, he paid the price for the judgment, but he still did it for a covenant with us. Preparation for Sinai. God instructed the Israelites to consecrate themselves for 3 days before receiving the law. This emphasizes the holiness that's required to encounter God. And he still had to send himself because none of us were holy enough to encounter God. But he came to us. And I love telling people, like, religion is so fixed on telling us all the things we have to do to reach God, but we're never going to be able to do enough to reach God. So God loved us so much, and out of his kindness and generosity, he came to reach us. You know, that's the good news. That's what separates Christ followers from all other religions. It's not ritualistics on all the things we have to do or we don't have to do. It's out of his kindness and faithfulness and his love. What he had to do to reach us. It's really beautiful. Um, Jonah in the belly of the fish. Jonah's 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish symbolizes Jesus' death and resurrection. It was a foreshadowing of his burial and resurrection. Jonah 1, verse 17. And the Lord appointed a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Matthew chapter 12, verse 40 says, For just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. I know, right? And then after that, he popped up. He filled it. The creation, right? So it happened. And then the third day, he filled it. So cool. Um, and then this is what his apostle, his people said. Okay, Luke chapter 24, verse 46. Thus it is written that the Christ should suffer and on the third day rise from the dead. This is what Jesus was telling them. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Paul says that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the scriptures. Going all the way back to Genesis there, you guys. This is so cool. Matthew chapter 16. From the time Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and on the third day he will be raised. It was already written. Luke 24:7, that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of the sinful man and be crucified, and on the third day he will rise. Mark 9, chapter 31, for he was teaching his disciples, saying to them, the Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men, and they will kill him. And when he is killed, 3 days later, he will rise. You know, there's a scripture too, I didn't put it in here, but where a seed has to go into a ground, and then the seed has to die when it's planted so that life can come forth. Yeah. So Jesus had to go into the ground in the grave as a seed to bring heaven to earth, to die, and then on the third day he rose to bring forth that life for us to partake of it, so that we can eat and the fruit of heaven. I mean, it's just so good, so good. All right, so Luke 24:46, and they said to him, this is written that the Christ should suffer and on the third day rise from the dead. I think we all get the point. Okay. So looking back at where we started at creation, the 3 days. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then 3 from 1, 3 from 2, 3 from 3. So I looked at that, and it's 3 squared, which is the number 27. All right, so 3 means the generosity and kindness of God. But there's a number 27 when you cube it 3 times. And the Hebrew word, okay. Oh, there's 27 books to the New Testament. So three times cubed, there's 27. There's 27 books to the New Testament, which tells us of the covenant that we have through Christ. All right. The Hebrew word, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Kapporeth, Kapporeth. It's the Strong's number H3727, and it means lid which is translated to like the lid on the mercy seat. It's the mercy seat of the old covenant. Okay. Um, the mercy seat occurs 27 times in the 22 Hebrew Old Testament in the verses of the King James. The mercy seat 27 times. Guys, this is so cool. I mean, the Bible's man written. Really? Really? I don't know. I don't think I have enough faith to believe that the Bible was written by man. There's too much in here. The number 27 is referenced 3 times in the book of Esther. All right. Well, guess what? I love what God does. Okay, so at the very beginning of the last month, it was about the water and being rooted in the tree, being the tree rooted by the waters. And the message that I had brought forth without even knowing what day it was about the trees being rooted by the water. So I didn't realize this whole thing when I was like went on the 3-day journey, but I'm going to close it here because the number 27 is mentioned 3 times in the book of Esther. And we are just in the beginning of the month of Adar, which is the celebration time of Purim, which is about the story of Esther. I didn't even know it when I went to bring this message today, but God knew it. Is that cool? I know. So we just entered into the month of Adar on the spiritual calendar, and Adar is the month, of Esther. So the story of Purim, Esther was a Jewish girl, and she was in the kingdom. And there was an enemy that was trying to kill all the Jewish people, which there's always that enemy at work in the earth because we don't battle with flesh and blood, we battle in the spiritual realm. So the spiritual realm was trying to kill the Jewish people off at that time. So Esther was brave, and she went boldly before the king, and she asked for him to save her people. And he was so moved by her, he said, yes, he'll save them. And the enemy that that built a pole to kill the Jewish people ended up hanging on that pole. Okay? So that is the time that we are celebrating for Purim. And again, the number 27 is mentioned 3 times in that book, in that story. Let's see. So through the bravery, the deadly plot against her people was overturned because of the generosity and the kindness of the king. And her enemy, it led to his death. Amen. Yeah. Yes. Is that the coolest thing? So to summarize today, the meaning of the significance of the 3 days is and we're under the judgment and sin of our fall. It was God's goodness and his giving and his kindness that caused it to be finished. It's finished. It's complete. And it's complete in Jesus Christ. So we don't have to be under the judgment of that sin, and we can rest in him, okay, because of his generosity and his kindness toward us. And he's got the enemy on the pole. So we can have freedom in him. So I want to that's the summary of the scripture that I'm bringing today, the message. But I do want to just bring up Adar because I just thought that was the coolest thing too, that we just happened to be bringing this message. Today is February 22nd, 2026, which is Adar number 5. So this is from the book titled 365 Prophetic Revelations from the Hebrew calendar. It's written by Candace Smithyman. Let me pull it up here and I'll read it to you guys. Give me just a second. I think I lost it somewhere. There it is. Okay. Adar 5. If you guys want, I'll read 6 too because it starts at the evening. Take off the moon calendar. Okay, Adar 5. So this is what it says in the prophetic revelation book. God has properly positioned you not to sit around like royals, but to minister to a remnant. He has given you a sphere of influence to you to use the power that He gave you to make changes. You must open your mouth. God has given you a voice in His word. When you a spark of God releases and ignites things. You can change a nation. Promotion comes with a test that proves we walked into the promotion. The enemy is prepared to convince you that this promotion didn't happen, that you're not good enough, or that you couldn't possibly be called to do this. He tries to get involved in the things of God and the progression of the Lord. He tries to push it back by bringing hindrances. Stand strong against him. What did Esther do next? Then Esther sent the reply to Mordecai, "Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days and nights. And I, my attendants, will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish." Esther asked her people to fast and pray with her for 3 days and nights. They joined an agreement that she would obtain the strength needed to go before the king. If she didn't go, she and her people would perish. The secret to getting past the pushback of the enemy is to step into the heavenly places, position yourself in his presence, and remember you are a citizen of heaven, and the joy of the Lord is your strength. Get in the secret place with the Lord and let him build you up. Fasting and praying will discipline you to sit with him and hear from him. And he will give you strategies and show you how to navigate the sphere of influence he has called you to. I think I might stop there because I mean, that was a really good word for what we just learned. All right. Be blessed. Know who you are, that you are loved, that we have a good, generous, kind God. And out of his work, not ours, but out of his work, it is finished. And we can rest in him. And we just need to give our hearts to him and let him lead our day. See where it takes us. All right. I love you all. Be blessed. Thank you.